From a rain-soaked Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. We'll take a quick break for the national anthem, and we'll be right back. And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park. This is Joe Foreman on the call for CSI Sportsnet. I will be bringing you all the action solo during this morning's matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the D'Youville University Saints. Dolphins come in looking for their first victory of the season. They come in with a record of 0-6-1. The Saints come in with a record of 2-6. They are 1-2 against the East Coast Conference. The Dolphins did have a lead in their last match as they played 1 week ago today. That last match played here on their home turf against St. Thomas Aquinas College. The Dolphins took the 1-0 lead on a goal by Christina Lambraya, but that lead did not hold up as CSI would surrender 2 unanswered goals in that match to fall by a final score of 2-1. And as you can see on your screen, there is a torrential downpour right now over Dolphin Soccer Park. We are operating a pair of cameras from inside of the press box. One camera, a handheld camera, being operated by Pat Gilorenzo. The second is a stationary camera positioned at the other end of the press box on the goal to the left of our moving camera. So again, 2-camera operation today. We are indoors. We have to contend with the window panes. We have to contend with the elements. But as always, every home game coming to you live from the College of Staten Island right here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on the ECC network. I mentioned the Dolphins coming in off of a loss last weekend against St. Thomas Aquinas College. The Saints last played 10 days ago after their previous match was postponed. That match 10 days ago was against Roberts Wesleyan, and it was the 3rd straight loss for D'Youville University. They dropped that match by a final score of 3-0. For the Dolphins, in their last match played on Wednesday, I mentioned their last home match. Their last match was actually played on Wednesday. They trailed that match 1-0 in the late stages with about 15 minutes to play. Macy Jones-Bush had a chance to get CSI even, sent a shot off of the post. The rebound ended up back on her foot, but the save was made. The Dolphins were kept off of the board at that moment, and from that point forward, the Lightning would score 3 more goals going on to defeat CSI by a final score of 4-0. Dolphins will kick it off. They will be attacking left to right to get things started here in the first half. It does appear the rain may have eased a bit just ahead of kickoff, so we'll see if that stays true moving forward in this match. As the Dolphins possess it first, they quickly turn it over in the midfield as the Saints look to take it across the midfield stripe. They give it away, and that's Melgar for CSI finding Rodriguez. Good to see Colleen Rodriguez back on the pitch here at home. She left injured in CSI's match last weekend against the Spartans, but looks okay to start, as that's a good ball for Lambraya, a bit too strong. And goalkeeper for the Saints looked to clear that over the far sideline. That was Reagan Duval. Perhaps that pass may have been tipped as that's thrown in toward the box, headed away toward the touchline. And the Saints will concede an early corner kick. So bit of a miscue there for the Saints early on. They did not need to concede that corner, but the Dolphins will get the game's first corner kick opportunity less than 1 minute into this first half. Looks like Emily Albano is setting up the corner kick for CSI. Dolphins gathered along the top of the box, aligned with the dot. A lot of blue jerseys in that area. Albano's corner kick sails toward the middle of the box. A good one. It's in traffic. A shot is blocked, and the follow is saved by Duval. An early chance for Jackie D'Amico and the Dolphins following a good corner kick. That ball had a lot of hang time under it. It stayed up in the air for quite a while, and that allowed several Dolphins to get positioned underneath it. They were in a very good position to perhaps take an early lead. Once again, we do have 2 cameras as the action moves to this end of the pitch. We will switch to our stationary camera, but right now play remains in the midfield as the Saints look to change that. That ball off the heel of Galan, and it's taken away by Solomon. We have a whistle, and a foul will go against the Saints. So with that Dolphins free kick, we will get a look at that last CSI corner and the ensuing shot attempts, the first of which was blocked, the second of which was saved. And here's another look at that last sequence. You're not missing anything right now as we will cut back to live action if it proves necessary. As the Dolphins are moving in, we go back to live action, and that's cleared away by the Saints. Dolphins got moving quickly off of that free kick. It was sent up the far sideline, and that resulted in another CSI scoring opportunity. Jones-Bush had that ball deflected. Solomon's shot was blocked. And it's going to be another Dolphins corner kick. Dolphins putting the pressure on the Saints early. And here's a look at that last sequence ahead of this corner kick. If we have a moment, we'll see. Dolphins got moving up the pitch very quickly. Nicely done by CSI on the attack. And we'll wait for this corner kick to get a look at that last replay. Albano to take it once again. That's sent toward the middle of the box, headed toward goal and over the crossbar. Another quality chance for the Dolphins early in this first half. Here's a look at the previous sequence that led to that Dolphins corner kick, and then we'll get one last look at that header just moments ago. Here you see Solomon trying to put one on goal. It was blocked. That results in the corner kick. And on the corner that followed, the Dolphins generate yet another chance on the header that goes just over the bar. See who it was who got a head on that. And I believe that was Marr coming from her backer spot into the center of the box. She put one just high. Play once again in the midfield. The Dolphins have not surrendered any possession in their own defensive third of the field as they play it back to their goalkeeper, Villacrest. And she sends one back into the midfield. Dolphins now have it far sideline. And there you see the impact of the conditions. Very slick out there. Looked like it was perhaps Rodriguez who lost her footing along the far side. This ball rolling down toward the touchline. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Saints. Brendan Guzman and his team once again coming in search of their first win. Played very well in the first half against Stack last weekend, but really struggled for offense in the second half. I believe the final tally may have been just a single shot on goal in half number 2 of that match. As the Saints quickly look to come the other way. And that shot is on goal and saved easily by Villacrest. That will go down as the first shot on goal for D'Youville University. Do apologize, our scoreboard a bit late getting up on your screens, but there it is. Our new East Coast Conference custom scoreboard design. As play continues in the midfield, we'll get our main camera feed back online as that took a few extra seconds after inputting the scoreboard, but as I was saying, Brendan Guzman and his team coming in looking for their first victory. Played well in the first half against the Spartans last weekend. That's an effort they'll look to replicate here this afternoon. They were also right in the game on Wednesday against Goldie Beacom, despite a massive shot disparity between the two teams. The Lightning with far more scoring chances, far more shots than CSI, but the Dolphins remained right in that game until about the last 10 minutes or so. As I mentioned during a very abbreviated pregame, the Dolphins trailed 1-0, had a chance to tie, could not come through with the equalizer, and after that, it was 3 consecutive unanswered goals for the Lightning in less than 15 minutes at the conclusion of that match. That ball sent over the fence. It will be a Saints throw. Saints send it across midfield, and they're looking for their real first attacking play of this match. Did come up with that shot not too long ago, but not much in terms of sustained possession as the Dolphins quickly took it away. Solomon being pressured, and CSI is forced to play it back to Villacrest. Giveaway by the Dolphins. This could be trouble. Set up in front. Play is on sides, but the Dolphins do recover defensively. No shot attempted by the Saints. And you'll have to think they'll lament that missed chance. Certainly could have put a shot toward goal, if not on goal. Good recovery by the Dolphins defensively following the turnover, as CSI now has it in the attacking third. Lambraya looking to move toward the center of the pitch. She is met. And possession goes to the Saints. Dolphins continuing to pressure, and Duval able to get rid of that ball over to her captain, Jordan Pakla. Dolphins trying to take it back in the midfield as Galan sends it over the near side. It's going to be a Saints throw. If the rain had not eased up by the time we kicked off, it has certainly eased up now. You wouldn't know it by getting a look at our second camera feed. We'll get those raindrops off of our lens momentarily. As that ball is sent into the box, Marr is there to meet it, and she sends it out toward midfield where the Saints are waiting, but Rodriguez comes down with this one off the foot of Chandra Phillips. Here comes Rodriguez. She avoids a tackle. Looks like Bernice may have gotten a piece of the ball. And she is able to track it down for her team. The Saints now have it once again in the midfield. Dolphins not giving up anything easily in this area of the pitch. Here come the Saints once again as possession has favored D'Youville over the last couple of minutes. That looked like an attempted shot by Eleonora Shikini. And we have a whistle and a foul against the Dolphins. So the leading goal scorer for the Saints will have an opportunity here on a free kick. Not the spot that you want to concede a free kick. Nearly in perfect alignment with the center of the box. Can really look to put this ball anywhere. The Dolphins have a three-player wall set up right now. Limbraya may join it and make it 4. And she will. As Shikini sends one toward goal, and it's saved by Villacrez. Chance off the rebound, but a tough angle there for Pakla, and that's deflected behind goal. Or I should say sent behind goal. An early test for Villacrez, and she is there to make the save. That's officially her second. We will get another look at that free kick and the shot that followed right here. Big save there by Villacrez to keep this game scoreless, and no chance for Pakla on the second attempt. So the Dolphins will throw, or I believe the Saints will throw from the far side, right in front of the CSI bench. Now, I do not have a number 27 on the roster for D'Youville, as we have a foul committed by Macy Jones-Bush. She gets a talking to from the head official. We'll consult our live stats to try and figure out who is wearing 27 for the visitors, as it will be another free kick for the Saints. All right, so it's Lily Gallagher, number 26, who is wearing number 27. We got that clarified nice and quick. Free kick coming up for D'Youville. That's sent deep in the box, and that was just a little bit too long for Gallagher. Not a bad attempt on the free kick by D'Youville, but that ball just a bit too long, and it will be a goal kick for CSI. After a very uneventful first few minutes for Villacrez in goal, that has quickly changed. And she's been under a bit of pressure over the last few. CSI goal kick doesn't leave the attacking third of the Saints, but the Dolphins do play it into the midfield. And it is going to be a throw-in for D'Youville, taken quickly. Long throw, taken toward Shikini, and that one's over the touchline. Throw-in for D'Youville. That's toward the top of the box. Gallagher was there, and they got her for a handball. Free kick for CSI off of the handball. Once again, it will be Albano to take it. She's already had a couple of corner kicks. Dolphins lead in that department, 2-0. Shots on goal favoring the Saints in the early going, 2-1. That ball popped up into the air. a couple of deflections, and Villacrest is there to make the save. Now we can try and zoom in a bit, but we have a very tough angle here in the press box. Hard to get the camera positioned down toward the Dolphins' goal. We're doing our best as we will shift our focus into the midfield. That's headed in the other direction. Rodriguez gets it on her foot, but she gives it away. Dolphins do take it back. That's Lambraya for Rodriguez. She plays one over toward Jones-Bush. Jones-Bush giving chase. It's a foot race, and that is cleared over the near side. Dolphins will throw. And that throw sails into the box. It's headed toward the top of the penalty area, met by a Saint. Galan had that one sent across midfield back to Albano. Dolphins will play it back to Villacrest. Villacrest for Albano. Albano, long ball. Contacts Phillips in the midfield. Now Gallagher. Gallagher. Back to Mazarski. And now, here comes Gabrielle Brown. Brown found Barhumi, and now moving up the pitch is Brooke Ballesteros. Two players getting tangled up, and that will draw a whistle from the lines judge. Signaled a jersey tug against the Saints. Free kick for Staten Island once again. Once again, it will be Albano to take it. Early portion of this first half controlled by the Dolphins. Since then, it has been the Saints getting the better of play. We are nearly 15 minutes into this first half, as once again you see the conditions perhaps causing that ball to go awry. As you can see, the players struggling to maintain their footing at times. The pitch was completely drenched ahead of kickoff. As the Saints look to keep it in the attacking third, that ball will not stay in play. Giving chase was Pakla. Galan to throw. And once again, that's bodied over the near side. Galan will throw again. That throw into the midfield. Lambraya was battling for position there against Barnwell. And this ball ends up along the near side on the edge of the attacking third, and it will be a foul, or a throw-in perhaps, as the Dolphins nearly had a chance off of that throw, and it was cleared away by the Saints. The Dolphins putting the pressure on quickly. That ball deflected by Rodriguez, and it will be scooped up by Reagan Duval. Duval has been good in net for the Saints this season. She comes in with a goals allowed average slightly over 2. She's kept her team in just about every game. Scoring has been the issue for D'Youville, much like this Dolphins team. Dolphins have just struggled to put the ball into the back of the net, as we have a whistle and a foul against the Dolphins. So that CSI chance goes by the wayside. Taking a look down CSI's schedule, Dolphins have allowed 3 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, no goals, 5 goals, 2 goals, and 4 goals. But in those games where they've allowed 2 goals or less, had 3 of those, they've only scored once. Tough to win when you're only scoring 1 goal across those kinds of games. 3 of them allowing 2 goals or less. But CSI goalkeeping has done their fair share to keep the Dolphins in games. It's been a lack of scoring chances for CSI that has plagued them all season. Down goes Castro along the far side. Good work there defensively by Brooke Ballesteros. That's Jesslyn Brooke Ballesteros. Hyphenated first name, not last name. As that ball is sent toward the top of the box, certainly offsides there. As Cicchini did not reestablish herself on side. Free kick once again for the Dolphins. Looks like it's going to be Albano to take it. Villacrest in the area. She will give way to her backer. And instead, Villacrest will play it short over to Marr. As the Dolphins look to work it up the far side, that was deflected. And Lambraya tracks it down. Dolphins may have something brewing here as she's looking for Jones-Bush. And Jones-Bush is able to get there but could not keep it in. Throw in for the Saints as we have reached 27 minutes to play in this first half. Tough to tell, but it looks like the rain may have stopped. If it is still coming down, it is coming down very lightly. As that is sent into the bleachers. Fortunately, the fans will provide our ball runners some assistance as they get a new soccer ball for the throw-in. Saints once again on the attack. And that ball is sent into the fence. Credit to all of our ball runners this afternoon. Nick, Stephanie, Steven, and Pat out there braving the elements. A very unenviable position this morning. Credit to all of them as they all showed up on time and ready to go ahead of today's game. Definitely not the day that you want to be out there. And we have one more after this. CSI Dolphins men's soccer will take the pitch at approximately 2 p.m. Of course, the men will also take on the same D'Youville University Saints team. Dolphins coming in off of a win. They also took on the Stack Spartans last weekend in what was one of their best efforts of the season. It was another clean sheet for Amari Thompson, his second on his home turf this year. 2-0 Dolphins win last Saturday. Thompson also posted a clean sheet in CSI's home opener against the Bloomfield College Bears. Dolphins level their record at 500 at Dolphins Soccer Park. They're 2-2 at home and have a chance to make it 2-1 against the East Coast Conference this afternoon. Play in the midfield as that's sent skyward. Headed in the air by Barnwell. You can see the players really having a tough time striking the ball cleanly in the wet weather. At times they've had some trouble maintaining their footing. Dolphins will throw after the Saints sent that last ball over the far sideline inside of 25 minutes to play in the first half. We await the throw. That's headed toward the corner and cleared up and over the fence by Gabrielle Brown. So the Dolphins will throw again. Throw goes toward the penalty area. That's headed in the air. Jones-Bush waits for it to come down. She gets tangled up with Barhumi. Galan was met over the ball by Cicchini. Saints get it away from the Dolphins and now look to move through the midfield. Barnwell over the head of the official. Good evasive action taken there. The officials last weekend weren't so lucky. One made a clean catch on a ball that was sent straight into his chest. Then in the second game, we had the official take one straight to the gut as that ball is sent off of a Saint, and D'Amico is down along the near side. She's a bit slow to get up, but appears okay. They'll have some work to do cleaning up that jersey after today's game. A lot of mud along the near and far sidelines as the rain really came down early this morning. Marr unable to send that one away, but fortunately for the Dolphins, the attacking player, Ballesteros, wasn't able to get a clean shot off. Villacrest slowly moving forward, and she will scoop that ball up. Inside of 23 minutes to play in this first half, as that's punted into the midfield by Villacrest. Melgar tracks it down right along the midfield stripe. Has D'Amico. D'Amico looking towards Jones-Bush. Jones-Bush receives the pass, moving toward the center of the pitch. She stops, sends one into the box toward the dot, and it was headed away by the Saints. Saints perhaps with a chance to counter here. They're moving forward. That's a good ball. Here comes Gallagher. Gallagher doesn't have much help. Two Dolphins in the area. That deflects off of Albano onto the foot of Galan. Now Jones-Bush back to Galan. Galan stonewalled in the midfield. Saints took it back for a moment, but Galan regains possession. Here comes Melgar across the midfield stripe. She's looking for Lembraya. A lot on that ball, but it looks like Lembraya is going to get there. She tracks it down in the corner, keeps it in. Nice move to avoid a marker. That is cleared away by the Saints. Dolphins will throw along the far side. Nearly lost the voice on that one. It's been a long week of calling action across the NCAA, the Elite Football Alliance, and the U.S. Premier Hockey League for me. I've been all over the place the last couple of weeks. As we have a whistle ahead of that throw, and it looks like the Dolphins will throw again. Throw goes toward D'Amico. Two teams battle for it along that far side. Dolphins will throw again. Melgar chips it in the air. And once again, that is sent over the fence. So Saints not conceding an inch along that far side. The Dolphins will try and throw it a bit longer here to the center of the box. Jones-Bush heads it toward goal, but that's wide. Not a bad attempt by Jones-Bush from a tough angle and a tough body position. As we do have our first substitution of the match. That will be number 2, Hannah Woodhouse, checking in for number 11, Jesslyn Brooke Ballesteros.
Substitution. Number 2, Hannah Woodhouse enters the game. She replaces number 11.
Ball punted into the midfield. We have a whistle. Foul against the Dolphins. Free kick will be taken from a bit beyond the midfield stripe by the Saints. As we near 20 minutes to go in this first half. Still no score. That ball sent to the edge of the attacking third and was headed away by Galan. Lembraya turns back toward the center of the pitch. Finds Galan. Galan sent that one up the pitch. There was nobody home, but this ball is rolling toward the penalty area. See what the Saints look to do. Phillips tracked it down, and that goes straight through the 5-hole of Barnwell as she tried to redirect it along the near side. It went straight through her boots. As Galan sends it into the box, bodied away by a Saint. D'Amico applying some pressure as Solomon gets ahead on that clearance. Saints will try and carry it into the midfield. Dolphins not conceding an inch now as CSI continues to apply the pressure. Brown sent it across midfield and out of play into the Dolphins bench. CSI will throw in. Dolphins will play it back to their keeper, Villacrest. And Villacrest will send it back into the midfield. Here come the Saints once again, but the Dolphins swarm. And that's a bad break for CSI as that deflects off of Galan. Fortunately, nothing comes of it for the Dieuville attack, and CSI will look to counter. Here comes Jones-Bush. Was looking for D'Amico. That ball sent up toward Lembraya. It's rolling down toward the touchline, and that is going to be a goal kick for Dieuville. After a very busy first couple of minutes, Reagan Duval has been a spectator for the most part for about probably 20 minutes now. Closest the Dolphins have come to a shot since those opening minutes was on that header by Jones-Bush. It went wide off of the long throw. That's been it. Saints have done a nice job regrouping after a difficult start for them, but both teams have been pretty solid on the back end defensively. Dolphins have made some nice defensive recoveries after being put in some tough spots. One in particular off of a turnover. And the Saints have really given the Dolphins a tough time, especially off of that last series of throw-ins. Speaking of throw-ins, the Saints will take one into the attacking third. Looking to move toward the center of the pitch is Cecchini. She gets into the box, gets rid of it, but a miscommunication there with her teammate. Timing just a bit off on that pass. Once again, ball moved into the attacking third by the Saints. The Dolphins will send it over the near side, but the Saints continuing to apply the pressure. As we have played down around the corner, we do not have a view of that area from here, as we do have a whistle, and I believe offsides was the call on the throw-in. Saints got a bit ahead of that throw. Dolphins take a free kick from right near that corner. That ball sails over the near side. It's going to be another throw-in. Throw-in once again deflected over the near side, and we have a whistle and a substitution upcoming for D'Youville. Number 14, Kenzie Byer will check in. She replaces number 10, Jasmina Barhoumi. Once again, that was Cecchini looking to move in. Dolphins now have it along the near side, and the Saints send it right back into the attacking third. Play in the midfield now. This is Galan looking to send it far side, and that is kept in by Rodriguez, who nearly stumbled, and you have to be really careful along those sidelines where the turf ends and the grass begins. That's a very dangerous area. Fortunately, Rodriguez was able to keep her footing. Dolphins now moving it along their back line. They play it to their keeper, Villacrest. Villacrest sends one into the midfield. Melgar avoids Gallagher, but taking it away was Bernas. That sails over the head of a couple of players, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Dolphins. Final third of this opening half, inside of 15 minutes on the clock here at Dolphins Soccer Park. Galan tried to keep it with CSI, could not. Cecchini into the center of the pitch. Strong effort there defensively by Rodriguez. Looks like she may have drawn a whistle there for that effort. Nicely done by Rodriguez. Physical play. Earns the Dolphins a free kick. Brown got a leg on that one. And possession right back with D'Youville. Given the current state of the weather, I think we're going to try and move our camera outside in the second half. Doesn't look like the rain is coming down much, so I'm willing to risk my own camera. So in the second half, we'll get our camera set up outside the window and get a better view of the action with a lot less movement in the camera shot. We'll have it positioned on a tripod right outside the window, and we'll take our chances in half number 2. As the Dolphins are moving forward here on the attack, 3-on-2. Lembraya will try and chase this one down, but she was marked well there. Wasn't much of an angle for her to get a foot on that ball. Good effort by Melgar to attempt it. And Duval will punt it out toward midfield. Jones-Bush sent that one off of Bernas, and we have a whistle now. I'm not sure if the call was handball or foul. Either way, it's going to be a free kick for CSI. Clock now inside of 13 minutes. Albano sends it toward the far side for Rodriguez. She gets into one, sends it into the box, and it skips into the arms of Duval. It's chipped toward goal, and that is sent in. Adriana Melgar with the Dolphins goal. And we will get a second look at that one, as once again, it is a goalkeeping miscue that results in a CSI goal. We saw that in the men's game last weekend, and once again here in the women's game, the Dolphins are the beneficiaries of a goalkeeping mistake. What a blast by Rodriguez. Duval couldn't reel it in, and Melgar was right there to clean it up on the rebound. It is 1-0 CSI. We will get a second look at that one in just a few moments, but that is not something you see often. It all got started with the attempt by Rodriguez. What a blast by Rodriguez. And Duval simply couldn't handle it. She tried to play the short hop. The pressure was being applied by Melgar, who was closing in. And that pressure may have altered Duval's ability to play that ball cleanly. Throw in for the Saints, as they're now looking for an equalizer. Dolphins pressuring along the near side, and once again the flag of the lines judge goes up for offside. So we've seen that a couple of times already at this end of the pitch. Dolphins will play it back to Villacrest. Now Albano has it in the corner. Castro near side. Plays it into the center of the pitch for Solomon. And that's cleared away by the Dolphins. Melgar. For Rodriguez, that pass intercepted. Here comes Brown. Brown sends that one toward Pakla. That was misplayed by Castro. Fortunately, it did not cost the Dolphins, at least not yet, as that is a handball against Galan. So tough break there for CSI. Galan got caught right in front of the shot taker. That was certainly an inadvertent handball, but nonetheless, the call goes against the Dolphins. And now Cicchini will try another free kick from a dangerous spot. Saints looking for an equalizer, and she is certainly a candidate to deliver one. That's sent toward goal, and once again, Villacrest makes the save. A lot of bend on that ball, and Villacrest stayed home along that near post. Here's a second look ahead of a Saints corner kick. If the corner is taken, we will cut to live action as you get a look at that save by Villacrest. You are not missing anything. We still await the corner kick. And that corner sails back behind the frame. So not what the Saints were looking for there, as we are going to have a pair of substitutions for D'Youville and a single substitution for CSI. Into the game for the Saints, as I mentioned, two players.
Now the game for the Saints, number 9, Lauren Zerwinkiewicz.
Papers
Number 17,
blowing everywhere.
O'Hara.
Now we have a couple of very difficult pronunciations for the players that just checked in, so I'm going to confirm those before I take a crack at it. Dolphins did make a change as well. Sophia Espada into the game for the College of Staten Island.
Substitution, number 15, Sophia Espada enters the game. She replaces number 5, Macy Jones-Bush.
Lauren Zerwinkiewicz, the first substitution for the Saints. Hopefully I got that last name correct, as we do have a whistle along the far side. Now, we're going to have a Dolphins throw-in when play resumes inside of 8.5 minutes to play in this first half. Espada plays that one back to Castro. Castro tries to clear it, but waiting for it was Barnwell. Barnwell sends one toward goal, and that's well wide and over the touchline. Once again, we are going to go back to a camera positioned on a tripod during the second half. We have everything up here ready to go. Just need to get set up outside of the window, and it does appear as if the weather will allow us to do that in the second half. That one's sent away by Villacres. Dolphins have it. Ball sent up ahead toward Espada. Lambraya has it off the deflection. Lambraya moving in. Stops. Gets it to Melgar. Melgar with a one-touch pass for Lambraya down in the corner. Lambraya was able to play it off of Brown, and the Dolphins are awarded a corner kick. Albano will take it once again. Corner kicks favor the Dolphins 3-1. Shots on goal favor the Saints 4-2. Dolphins once again positioned along the top of the box. Aligned with the dot. And that one's off the head of a Dolphin. It may have been D'Amico. Castro will look to cross, and instead she puts a shot on goal. Saved easily by Duval. Duval sends one toward midfield stripe. Barnwell. Got it into the center of the pitch there where we have players getting tangled up. Gallagher was able to get rid of it to her backer. It was Phillips playing it far side for Brown. Brown being pressured by Melgar. Melgar has been everywhere these last few minutes. Melgar continuing to apply the pressure as the Saints are being forced to retreat here. Good work by Melgar for the Dolphins as that hard work will pay off. The Dolphins do force a giveaway, and now Melgar may have a chance, but that ball is just a bit too long. Just a little bit too much on that ball intended for Melgar. Now, I think we had an offsides call, so whether or not that ball was on target, it would not have been consequential as the flag went up along the near side. Offsides against the Dolphins. Melgar got a bit ahead of that Saints back line. That ball sails across the midfield stripe to the edge, the attacking third for the Saints. And we may have a chance upcoming here for D'Youville. Now, as I mentioned before, two players checked into the game with very difficult names to pronounce. Second of which was at the head of that attack. My best guess is Oahoda for the pronunciation of the player's last name who checked in. Tough first name pronunciation as well, so I'm going to get that double checked at halftime. Want to make sure that we get it right, but there aren't many questions the internet can't answer. As Albano gets ahead on that one and looked a bit shaken up for a second there. D'Amico, back to Marr. Rodriguez for Solomon. Solomon back to Rodriguez. She gets it up to Melgar. Melgar looked to move toward the center of the pitch and had it knocked away quickly. D'Amico intercepts. Lambraya toward Galan. That was off of a Saint. The Dolphins keep possession. Fortunate break there for CSI. Castro sends one toward the top of the box. Melgar underneath it. That's cleared away again by the Saints. Albano for Galan. Galan has room, and Galan will send one well wide. Goal kick for the Saints as we approach 3 minutes to play in this first half. Dolphins Dolphins maintain a 1-goal lead off of a goalkeeping miscue. Adriana Melgar put the Dolphins ahead. And I mentioned it earlier during this half. Duval's been good for the Saints this year, allowing barely over 2 goals per game. And we're going to have a throw-in for the Saints here. Gallagher plays that one back to Phillips. That's Mazarski. Far side for Brown. Winds up with Bernas. Mazarski sends it up the pitch. It's redirected toward the far side. 2 players converge over the ball. Dolphins come away with it in the midfield, but it's quickly taken away again. Here come the Saints. This is Woodhouse moving in. She's taken down. And a yellow card will be shown. So, looks like that's going to be Ariel Solomon who picks up the yellow. And we are going to have another free kick for D'Youville. Trying to get a look at who is going to be taking that free kick. It appears as if Sienna Barnwell will take it. And that is Barnwell. Just outside of the penalty area, aligned with the corner of the box. That one sent into the penalty area, and that sails high. Not by much. A good effort from Barnwell, but that sails harmlessly over the crossbar, and the Dolphins may look to wind down the final 2 minutes of this first half. As we do have a CSI substitution. Lambraya off and Danny Duca on. Goal kick for CSI.
Number 10, Danny Duca enters the game. She replaces number 11, Christina Lambraya.
D'Amico plays it back to Marr. Solomon. Poor pass there, intercepted. And here come the Saints. Svalenkowicz with the pass interception, but Solomon takes it back. This is Rodriguez. Rodriguez toward Duca. And we'll see which way this one goes. It is inside of that corner flag. If that had traveled just a couple of feet to the right, that would have been problematic. If that ball goes out a couple of feet over to the right, that's a Dolphins corner. As we have 45 seconds to go in this first half, the Dolphins continuing to apply pressure here in the attacking third. Here comes Castro. Castro looks to chip it around Barnwell. It's cleared away by the Saints. That one will skip out of play over the fence. They will get a new ball. And the Dolphins are running out of time. They will throw in with about 20 seconds remaining in this first half. That throw is headed toward the midfield. 10 seconds on the clock. Espada sends one toward the touchline, and that will roll out of play. Saints will let that one keep on rolling as that brings us to the end of the first half. Our score through the first 45 minutes, College of Staten Island 1 and D'Youville University 0. When we come back for the second half, we will have our camera positioned outside of our window on a tripod for a better look at the action when we return here on the ECC Network, half number 2 of the Dolphins and Saints. This is exclusive CSI Sportsnet coverage of NCAA Division II women's soccer.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community. Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. Once again, this is CSI Sportsnet coverage of NCAA Division II women's soccer. The College of Staten Island Dolphins lead the D'Youville University Saints at the start of the second half by a score of 1-0. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call. Our camera operator this afternoon is Pat Gilorenzo. He is now positioned outside. He has our camera on a tripod, and it will be moving nice and steady through this second half. We did bring you the first half with a couple of cameras, one stationary and one handheld and hand-operated. Fortunately, we will not have to do that again here in the second half. Might have a bit of a tough time filming the action along the near side, but you should not be missing much as the Saints will kick off to start the second half. Dolphins have their one-goal lead behind a goalkeeping miscue. Reagan Duval misplayed a short hop on a ball, and that allowed Adriana Melgar to clean up the rebound off of the Saints keeper. And for Melgar, she registers her first goal of the season. For the Dolphins, that goal is the second score this year. First coming last weekend as that ball sent toward the near side. Rodriguez battling against Woodhouse for possession, and the Dolphins are awarded a throw-in. Nice crowd here at Dolphin Soccer Park despite the weather. Now, to be fair, many of the spectators trickled in after the rain had stopped. Perhaps many of them are waiting out in their vehicles, as the forecast did call for a clearing at some point between 11 and 2 p.m. Fortunately for the men, it appears as if they will be playing without the threat of rain. Women got started in a torrential downpour, and the rain has since subsided. We have seen the impact of the wet conditions on a few occasions so far in this match, but nothing overly significant coming of it. Of course, the biggest concern with the slick turf is the potential for injuries, and fortunately, we avoided any such occurrence through the first 45 minutes. As we had another whistle ahead of that throw, and I think that the Saints may have been whistled for a violation on the throw-in. Barnwell was the thrower, and maybe the referee thought that she had taken too many steps forward, perhaps. Not sure what drew the whistle, but nonetheless, the Dolphins possess it. Once again, the clock on your screen is official. That is synced with the main scoreboard here at Dolphin Soccer Park. We're just underway in the second half. Our scoreboard, a new custom design made specifically for the East Coast Conference. As we have a whistle and a foul. It's going to be a Dolphins free kick. Rodriguez will take it. She had a very busy first half, was involved in a lot of Dolphins opportunities. That's sent toward the penalty area. Right on the edge of the attacking third. It's cleared away by the Saints. Rodriguez meets it. That is passed forward by Barhumi. Trying to keep it in is Woodhouse, and she does. That's redirected toward the center of the pitch once again for Barhumi. Pass intercepted by Galan. Jones-Bush moving toward the far side. Now moves forward with some speed, has some space. Plays it up ahead for Lambraya. Lambraya redirected it onto the foot of a Saint. It's sent back the other way, and now D'Youville may have a chance. That pass for Woodhouse intercepted. It's rolling toward the far side. Jones-Bush could not get there quickly enough. Now the Saints look to move up the far side. That's passed ahead to Castro. Castro back to Jones-Bush. Now Albano. She sends one into the air. D'Amico waiting for it on the way down. Also in the area is Barhumi. She got it away. Bayer onto the foot of Solomon, who clears. And now Jones-Bush giving chase alongside Barnwell. Barnwell the first to it. Castro toward Lambraya, and right back the other way by Milsarski. Cicchini Sent it toward the far side, and Saints petitioning for a handball. They do get the call. It's going to be a D'Youville free kick. Free kick will be taken by Cecchini. That's sent toward goal and a bit too long for the Saints attackers gathered in the area. Dolphins have a goal kick upcoming as we approach 40 minutes remaining in this match. This game following a very similar script to the Dolphins' last home match at this point. CSI also led that match 1-0. Dolphins would love to make it a 2-goal lead, give themselves some breathing room. Dolphins have not led by more than a single goal yet this season. They hope to change that here this afternoon against D'Youville. Saints have it as they send it into the midfield. Barhomey had some room. Now sends one way up the pitch towards Mazarski. Make that Woodhouse. Woodhouse trying to get by Marr. She's petitioning for a corner, and she is awarded the corner. It's going to be a Saints corner kick, just their second. 5 total corner kicks to this point in the match. 3 belong to CSI, 2 belonging to D'Youville. Once again, it is Barnwell in the corner to take it. Barnwell sends a ball skipping toward the center of the box, and that is sent well high off the foot of Sarah Mazarski. Once again, possession favoring the Saints early in the second half. Dolphins were relentless with their pressure throughout the first half defensively. They did not allow the Saints anything easily. Dolphins forwards and midfielders really giving the Saints a tough time moving the ball up the pitch. But after an initial flurry by the Dolphins in the opening minutes, Saints really turned that first half around, played much better after the first few minutes, but it was CSI that would go on to score the match's first goal. As I mentioned before, due in large part, if not entirely due to the goalkeeping miscue. That ball sent back toward Duval in net for the Saints. She sends it into the midfield. That's headed toward Cecchini. Ball now skipping along the far side. Barnwell giving chase, and she could not keep it in. Quick throw taken by the Dolphins. Albano. Now Marr. Rodriguez up the pitch. Her pass intercepted by Mazarski. She plays it long, but waiting for it was Galan. Solomon for Jones Bush. Now Rodriguez. Make that Castro. Jones Bush. Moving in. And I'm not sure who the intended target was on that pass, but it's quickly intercepted. And Cecchini lost her footing. That could have been trouble. And play is on sides, and we may have a chance coming here for the Saints. Woodhouse working against Rodriguez, and we are going to have a whistle. And the whistle does go against Rodriguez, so the Saints are awarded another free kick. Saints have been the beneficiaries of several free kicks already in this match. I'm not sure the Dolphins have attempted a free kick anywhere near the Deauville penalty area. That has not been the case for the Saints. This is at least the third or fourth time they've set up for a free kick within just a few yards of the box. Once again, Barnwell will take it. Dolphins set up a three-player wall. Barnwell's free kick on goal, and Villacrest makes the save. The only question there was going to be rebound or no rebound. And after initially batting it away, Villacrest was able to pull it in. That ball sent across midfield. Lambraya for D'Amico. D'Amico sent it back toward Lambraya. Jones-Bush attempts the tackle there, but Phillips was able to get by. Now here come the Saints once again. Cicchini will give chase, and that's over the touchline. Had to pass a message along next door. Inside of 34:25 to play in the second half as we await a Dolphins goal kick. Villacrest sends one toward the sideline. Jones-Bush able to head it back in.
Dolphin substitution, number 21, Ariel Yu enters the game. She replaces number 6, Colleen Rodriguez.
Ariel Yu will replace Colleen Rodriguez. Just over 10 minutes into the second half. Ball now right at the top of the box. Albano tried to clear, could not. See if the Saints can generate a shot out of this. Dolphins still relentless with their defensive pressure as we have a Deauville throw-in upcoming, but the Dolphins are not conceding any open space. A lot of blue jerseys back as well as that shot is sent just over the bar. Good attempt there. And I'm not sure anyone was ready for that. I certainly wasn't, as we will get a second look at that last shot. That one didn't miss by much. And here's a second look at it. See if I can pick out the shot taker, and that was a really good chance. That was Barnwell once again. Everyone else all over that one except myself, so I appreciate the help. Here comes Melgar. Melgar looking for Lambraya, and nowhere to put that ball. Brown, near side for Barhumi, back to Brown, and D'Amico collides with Brown. Possession will stay with Deauville on this throw. We had a whistle, and it will be a substitution for the Saints. Jesslyn Brooke Ballesteros checks back in.
Number 11, Jocelyn Brooke Ballesteros enters the game.
And Gabrielle Brown will come out. So, question here is throw-in or free kick? Looked like they were setting up for a free kick after I initially said throw-in, but it is indeed a Deauville throw. Ball now in the midfield. Fresh legs for Ballesteros on the pitch immediately, right in the middle of the action, as we have a foul against Ballesteros. Dolphins are awarded a free kick, and once again Albano will take it. Dolphins lined up a few yards outside of the penalty area as Melgar looked to be making a run from the far side toward the center of the pitch, and I believe she was the intended target on that ball. Albano just got a little bit less than she needed on that ball. As we have a foul once again against the Dolphins. This time it will be a free kick for D'Youville, but you could see Melgar coming in from along the far side, trying to make a run behind Barnwell. Unfortunately for the Saints, they were able to get ahead on it before the ball could get there. As Albano sends that one right back toward the D'Youville goal, and Vilsarski mishandled it. Jones-Bush intercepts. Here comes Jones-Bush, and Jones-Bush scores! Macy Jones-Bush off the pass interception, takes it into the box, and beats Reagan Duval for the second Dolphins goal. What a defensive play by Jones-Bush. She could not find the back of the net with the Dolphins trailing by 1 in their last match. She comes through here today with the Dolphins leading by a goal, and CSI now has a 2-0 advantage. We will get a second look at it and see how that all started. As Milsarski initially here mishandled the ball, that's where it all began. And then a poor pass was taken away by Jones-Bush. I'm not sure Phillips ever saw her. And I think that may have been the problem. Also in the area there was one other Saint. And you could see in the background of that celebration, Milsarski very disappointed with how that one turned out. And I said it earlier, the wet conditions have made it a bit difficult on players when it comes to handling the ball cleanly. And in that spot, it looked like Milsarski lost her footing just a bit, then tried to rush the pass. And because of that, the ball was off target and easily taken away by Jones-Bush. Now, it looked like the ball did get to Phillips in time, but she didn't see Jones-Bush coming. And because of that, Jones-Bush was able to score. Here's one last look at it. As you're not missing anything live right now, play in the midfield. There you see it. The stumble by Milsarski and then the pass interception by Jones-Bush. And Jones-Bush made no mistake on that shot. That is her first goal of the season, unassisted. And for the Dolphins, that gives them a 2-goal lead for the first time this season. As Lambraya is down, the attacking play continues, and Rodriguez sends that shot wide. Lambraya limping just a bit. She went down hard. Saints now in a tough spot, trailing by a pair on the road, facing what could potentially be their 4th straight loss. Cicchini was unable to get there. It's going to be a Dolphins goal kick. Curious to see whether or not the Dolphins park back some extra bodies defensively here, leading by a pair. CSI in search of their first victory of the season. We haven't seen them much here at home. Dolphins have only played a couple of matches on their home turf. First was way back at the beginning of the month, and the second was last weekend. Only 2 home matches for the Dolphins in the entire month of September. As that ball rolls toward the touchline, Villacrest meets it. And she's going to pick this one up. As for the men, we saw them in the month of September 3 times. Make that, it was 3 times, as the first match of the season was on August 31st. That was the Dolphins' home opener. So for the men, they played 3 home matches in September, 1 in August. For the women, just 2 home matches in September. Barring any schedule changes, our next broadcast will be on the 13th of October. Women's soccer hosting a Wednesday afternoon game. Usually get about 1 or 2 of those per season. And they will take on Bloomfield College. The men have already faced Bloomfield. As I mentioned earlier, that match was a victory for the Dolphins. And that is a really tough break for a couple of players. Galan had that one deflect right off of her face. And they're going to allow a couple of substitutions on as Galan is assisted off the pitch. So Dolphins are going to make a couple of changes. Saints are going to make a couple of changes as well. Looks like Brown is coming back in for the Saints. She didn't check out too long ago. Looks like Hannah Dino is going to check in as well for DUville. Galan at the trainer's table right now. Danny Duca stands at midfield waiting to check in for the Dolphins. Remains to be seen if either Duca or Dino is going to come in. We still await the resumption of play. Looks like they're adjusting the clock, so they'll put 10 seconds back on. Free kick sent toward the top of the box. And the Saints fight to keep it in this end of the pitch. That's redirected toward the center of the pitch. And Rodriguez nearly was able to get through there. Had to power her way through a couple of challenges. Could not as Marr is pressured. And nice job there by Marr not to be forced into a mistake. She was put in a tough spot. And Ballesteros was really bringing the defensive pressure from behind, trying to turn that into a scoring chance. That ball pinballs around right near the midfield stripe. It ends up on the foot of Duval. Duval near side. This is Barhumi. She sends one up the pitch. It's bodied down by Marr. Melgar has it taken away by Gallagher. Phillips across the midfield stripe. Gets it up to Gallagher again. Gallagher for Barnwell. That's sent into the air toward the Dolphins' back line. Phillips was able to get a foot on it along the far side as we're going to have substitutions. Now, I didn't see who came in for Galan, if anyone did come in. But Danny Duca will check in, replacing Christina Lambraya.
Number 17, Angie Gowan. Dolphin substitution, number 10, Danny Duca enters the game. She replaces number 11, Christina Lambraya.
So I believe it was officially announced that Melgar replaced Galan. If so, I didn't even see it. Nonetheless, it's going to be a Dolphins throw-in. Duca was able to deflect that one, stop it from going over the touchline. Melgar takes it away. Melgar moving toward the midfield stripe, and Jones Bush could not keep it in. So it was Dino for Gallagher. Saints substitution at that last horn as well. This is Duca for D'Amico. Far side, Jones Bush. Now Rodriguez in traffic, and it's knocked away once again by the Saints. Ball now with Barhumi. She sends one toward the box. Here comes Villacrez, and she will dive on top of it. Talk about it all the time, but it is so important to be sure-handed in goal, as so often we see a misplayed ball or a rebound turn into a scoring chance. And in many cases, especially recently, those have proved very costly. Here comes Melgar moving ahead with speed. Nice job there by Phillips to stand her ground. played that well. This is Ballesteros. Here comes Woodhouse, and Villacrest gets there first. Fortunately for the Dolphins, that ball had enough on it that it reached the top of the box, allowing Villacrest to play it with her hands. If that ball had a little bit less on it, it could have been very problematic. And those also can become very dangerous plays when the keeper can't use their hands and both the keeper and the attacker are sprinting toward the ball. That can create a lot of issues in terms of collisions or other potentially dangerous plays. Saints now have it in the midfield. We have reached the midway point of the second half, just inside of 22:30 on the clock, as that rolls down toward the corner. And that's going to be a throw-in deep in the corner. But first, we are going to have another Dolphins substitution. Macy Jones-Bush out, and Sophia Espada back in.
Sophia Espada enters the game. She replaces number 5, Macy Jones-Bush.
Dolphins throw in. May have mistakenly said a Saints throw in that spot. It was a Dolphins throw in as the Saints look to keep play at this end of the pitch. They've done a pretty good job of that. Shot toward goal is just wide. Saints have generated some shots, but have not really done much to really put the pressure on Villacrest, now leading by 2 goals. That ball sent out toward midfield. Duca able to wrestle that one away from Pakla, and now Rodriguez has it deflected. Ballesteros applied the pressure defensively. Ariel Yu is going to throw in. That throw headed toward the center of the pitch. It was met by Dino. Now Melgar with a nice move to avoid the challenge. Melgar moving forward has Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is dispossessed. Still battling to keep possession as she comes up limping, and that doesn't look good, as Rodriguez now is just beyond midfield, and she definitely tweaked something as play continues down around the box. Now the question is, was a foul called there? We had a whistle, and Rodriguez doesn't look like she's going to be able to continue. And they're going to wave the trainer out. So the clock has not been stopped. Keep that in mind. The clock is still running. So there was definitely no signal there. They're going to add time, but there was no signal to stop the clock. And I mentioned it earlier, Rodriguez did leave the game last weekend injured. It was good to see her back. We weren't sure if she would suit up on Wednesday. She did, and started in this game as well, but not sure if this is the same injury or a different one. We won't speculate, but once again, Rodriguez is helped off of the pitch here at Dolphins Soccer Park with an injury. And the Dolphins have conceded a free kick. So once again, Saints are awarded a free kick in a dangerous spot. Angie Galan checks in for the Dolphins, replacing Rodriguez. Galan left after taking a soccer ball to the head. She was checked out, appeared okay heading off, but as a result of protocols, needs to be checked out. And concussion protocols in the forefront of the news this week following the situation on Thursday Night Football. That conversation has moved into prominence once again as this free kick is sent toward the far post. Tracked down by the Saints. First shot attempt was partially blocked. It's cleared away by the Dolphins. The Saints looking to send it back toward the box. And once again, that deflects off of a Dolphin. And that's going to be a corner. So corner kick number 3 for D'Youville will even up the corner kick tally. The Saints are going to make a substitution once again. Looks like Cicchini is going to head off.
Saints substitution. Number 9, Warren Zerlenkiewicz enters the game. He replaces number 28.
Zerlenkiewicz will check in. Look at this wall along the near post as that is sent behind the frame. And you know the Saints aren't happy with squandering that opportunity. Villacrest will take this goal kick. Short one sent toward the near side, but into an open space where Melgar was waiting. Good touch there, trying to send it back the other way and perhaps run underneath it. Not a poor effort by any stretch, as you did keep it in. Duca meets it. Duca working against Brown. Both players chasing after this ball. And Brown will get it over to Phillips. Phillips into the midfield. Castro sent it up into the air. Now Espada. Back to Galan. Solomon. Over to you. You gets behind that one. Was looking for D'Amico, and there was some room there. Good idea. As Ballesteros found Dino in the midfield. That was deflected by a Dolphin and taken away. D'Amico receives that one. After that pass traveled through a tight window, she has Duca. And Duca can't connect cleanly with the left foot. Good passing there by the Dolphins. And a nice run by Duca. She was open. But a tough shot with the left foot. And she did attempt that shot. It looked like on the first touch. Didn't give herself much time. And I think she may have had a little bit more than she thought. Here's a look at that pass on the way in the last shot attempt by Duca. And she certainly did attempt to one-touch it. So that's a really tough play for an attacker, especially at that angle. And Duca did not connect cleanly as the Saints look to move ahead into the attacking third. And Albano concedes the corner inadvertently as that ball took an awkward roll off her foot. Saints will now attempt corner kick number 4. Dolphins will commit 10 bodies into the penalty area, looking to protect a 2-goal advantage. CSI about 16 minutes and 20 seconds away from their first win, as that is sent far post, and that travels through traffic and over the touchline. Not a bad ball. That one was almost perfectly aligned with that far post. If that ball bends a couple of inches more, it may have contacted the post. It was that close. However, it sails harmlessly out of play. The Dolphins once again have a goal kick inside of 16 minutes to play. And you can see as Villacrest set that ball down on the pitch, the wind really began to move it. Right now it is not raining, but the wind has certainly picked up here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Villacrest will backpedal and will pick that ball up. I mentioned it before. For D'Youville, they come in having lost 3 straight. All of those have been in shutout fashion. So the Saints now in danger of going 4 straight matches without a goal. Dolphins open their season the same way. In fact, CSI went 5 without a goal, if I'm not mistaken. And that is indeed the case. So Dolphins had a scoring drought of their own. Brought that to an end last weekend. And now here today, the They hope to make it a winning effort. We're inside of the final 15 minutes as that ball was just a bit too long for Emma Russell, who recently checked in. Good look for Russell. She made a nice run. And we are going to have another substitution. Still contending with losing my voice from time to time. If you do hear our audio cut, that's me utilizing the cough button. So there is no audio issue. Just from time to time, I have to pass a message along next door, perhaps mute the mic. At those points, our audio will cut. This ball rolling down toward the corner along the far side. Giving chase is Rolenkowitz. And it looks like the Dolphins will throw. So she couldn't get there. And the Dolphins will take possession. Albano will likely look to send this a long way. She does, as that finds its way to the edge of the midfield. But the Saints retake control. And that skips into the arms of Villacrest. She let it bounce off of her. But Dolphins goalkeeper has control of it now. And she will punt it out toward midfield. That doesn't go very far. It's headed by the Saints. Galan first to it for CSI. Castro sends it in the air. And a nice grab by Marquise Pickering, our athletic communications content creator, braving the elements. He was looking for some trash bags earlier to help protect his equipment. Perhaps a makeshift poncho for him as well, but he has some nice Dolphins gear, so I don't think he needs the makeshift poncho. If our content creators patrolling the sidelines in a trash bag, that's a pretty bad look. Saints will throw. Now, we did update our Sportsnet introduction package, our video package, ahead of today's game. We'll talk more about that in a moment if the Dolphins are able to clear this. But I did update our video package. However, there were some issues with the playback quality. I intended to debut that video package today. We may have to wait until the 13th. But throughout the season, we will be updating our introduction video package with some more clips from this year, all taken by Marquise. So that was my segue into sharing that information. And we should have some more updates to come on our intro video within the next couple of weeks ahead of our next match. Nicely done there by Melgar as Barhumi went down injured. Duca has another chance, and she looked to take it inside rather than shoot it. And perhaps Duca was a bit hesitant to shoot with the left after that last attempt. Now, once again, we've received no signal to stop the clock. We'll see if we get one. Barhumi will try and walk this one off, as it looks like the Saints are making a change in goal. So hopefully everyone caught it. They're going to add 15 seconds. And once again, that is not on our scoreboard operator. No signal to stop the clock. But they add 15 seconds back on. Had to pass the message along next door. Oftentimes, I am mistaken for the scoreboard operator. Not quite sure how with the headset on, but it does happen. Also, during our last game, I had a spectator telling me they couldn't hear me over the speakers, thinking I was the public address announcer. So, a man of many talents up here in the commentary booth. As we wind down inside of 11 minutes to play. Another nice move by Melgar. She's had a fantastic game. Melgar moves in. Shot toward goal is high. But Melgar continues to impress. As that shot, quality chance, well high, but
To replace number 30,
Off the foot.
Andy Gall.
Looked promising. And the Dolphins freshman was looking to add a goal to what has been a very impressive showing for her. Of course, she already has one.
Bracket substitution.
Had a chance to make it
Number
2.
5, Jones Bush enters the game. She replaces number 15, Sophia Espada.
Now in goal for the Saints is number 23, Camden Cross.
Christina Lambrea enters the game.
Both teams made several substitutions right there. Not going to be easy to relay all of those to you, but we actually can't check who is on the pitch at any given moment, so I'd have to eyeball it. Marr looked to clear that one away. She went down. Another player for the Dolphins who is out there seemingly every minute of every game and rarely comes out is Megan Marr. And I think that may be the case again in this game. I'll have to check the stats. I cannot remember the last time I saw Marr come out of a game. She has been a staple on that back line for the Dolphins. And it's been so important to keeping CSI in games defensively when the Dolphins have struggled for offense. And I'm going to get a minute tally on Marr right now, but she rarely comes out of the game and deserves credit for all of the minutes she plays. That ball skips toward the top of the box. That was deflected. Another player who never comes out, seemingly, anyway, is Emily Albano. And Albano has, in fact, not come out of a game all season. Albano has played in all 7 games entering today's action, has not missed a single minute of action. 630 minutes for Albano this year without coming off. Melgar, through 7 games, has 609. Angie Galan, 606. And then Megan Marr, in 6 games played, has not come out. She has played 540 minutes as the clock was stopped following that collision in the midfield. But the Dolphins have a lot of players who have logged a lot of minutes. That is not an easy thing to do, especially during the hotter portions of the season. If you stepped out onto the pitch today, you would think those times are a distant memory, as it's very cool here at the College of Staten Island this afternoon. Had a lot of rainfall early, but that has since stopped, and it looks like we are going to have precipitation-free men's soccer coming up next. As the Saints, trailing by a pair of goals, are running out of time. They need to make something of their attacking chances. Ballesteros will throw quickly, and the whistle blows. Now, the reason for that was substitutions. Had to pass a message along next door, but there are just over 7 minutes remaining in the second half. Dolphins looking for some insurance as Jones Bush moves ahead with speed. She is dispossessed as that's sent back up the pitch in the other direction. Albano tracks it down. And there's a giveaway by the Dolphins, but once again, Marr in the right spot to clear it. Dolphins have been pretty clean with their passing in this game. That was a bad giveaway in that spot. Fortunately, they have some room for error, leading by 2 in the closing minutes. Ball along the far side. Castro retreats toward her own goal. Albano sends it a long way. Across midfield. That ball skips toward the top of the box. Waiting for it was Cross. Cross toward the far side for Phillips. Phillips up the pitch to Oahoda. Collision right along the midfield stripe. Melgar and Ballesteros As Yu gets it up to D'Amico. She redirects for Melgar. Melgar is moving in, tried to spin, but could not. A good defensive play by Sarah Milzarski, as Melgar, with a strong effort to get a shot off, could not maintain possession. Still a good-looking attacking play by the Dolphins. It's been a strong effort from CSI in this game. As that ball sails across midfield, Saints, running out of time, need to make something of this trip down the pitch. Phillips, along the far side, looking for somewhere to go with it. Sends it on to the knee of Albano. It's sent skyward, knocked down. That's Gallagher. Jones-Bush in the area. Phillips toward the center of the pitch. Milzarski collides with Lambraya, and the whistle is blown. We had a foul call. Clock is still running. Dolphins are looking to make a substitution here. CSI quickly takes the free kick, so the change will have to wait. Melgar, moving toward the center of the pitch, has Yu, and Yu sends one well wide. Dolphins are going to make a change. Into the game for CSI is a player who is not yet on my official roster, though I do believe that's Stephanie Ballesteros. She's wearing number 21. We have her listed as 22, so I believe that's Ballesteros who checks in. And I get confirmation for next door.
She replaces number 24, Adriana Melgar.
Dolphins have it in the midfield. Galan over to Jones-Bush. Jones-Bush to the top of the box. It's headed away. Ballesteros back into the midfield for Galan. Now Salaman. Good ball far side. Castro had it deflected. That's rolling toward goal. Cross heading there, and that looked to be deflected by D'Amico and onto the foot of Lambraya, who goes down hard. We will get a second look at that. A lot going on in that fray, and we'll break it all down on this replay. It started here with the ball from Solomon toward the far side. Castro had her pass deflected. Then we had that ball deflect off of a Saint. It was not off of D'Amico. It was off of a Saint. We had a horn and a Dolphin substitution. Duca in, Lambraya out. But Lambraya had her shot partially deflected. It sailed high. She went down hard at the end of that play as we tried to follow all of that action. Albano toward the center of the box, cross punches it in the air. And she is able to bring it in. Cross with a low line drive toward midfield. That ball was partially deflected by Castro, and the Dolphins may have a chance brewing here as Ballesteros with a bit too strong of a touch in that spot. This is Ballesteros. We have Ballesteros and Ballesteros. Ballesteros of the Dolphins and Ballesteros of the Saints. As the Dolphins once again take it away in the midfield. Dolphins really haven't looked to slow the pace much despite possessing a 2-goal lead. Some fancy dribbling there by Galan. Ballesteros. She's dispossessed by Ballesteros. And the Saints will play it toward the far side. Cicchini giving chase, and that is over the touchline. With less than 2 minutes to play, it appears as if the Dolphins will pick up their first victory of the season. And for Brendan Guzman and his team, you know that has to be a major relief for them. Finally getting into the win column. It will improve the Dolphins to 1-2 against the ECC. For the Saints, assuming they do not score in the final about 80 seconds, they will have gone 4 straight matches without a goal. They did have their chances in this game, but neither team with many shots on goal, just 5 for D'Youville and 2 for Staten Island. Looking ahead on the Dolphins' schedule, they play again 1 week from today at Roberts Wesleyan. They then have conference matches to end the season against Lincoln, Damon, and Queens. Less than a minute to play, as there are officially 45 seconds on the clock. Dolphins also have a conference match against Mercy here at home on October 15th. So Roberts Wesleyan, Mercy, Lincoln, Damon, and Queens round out the conference schedule for CSI following this afternoon's game. And it is going to be a win for the College of Staten Island, as it looks like the only question is the final result, 2-1 or 2-0. This ball rolling toward the near side. Battle for possession. Woodhouse not conceding anything, as the Dolphins will clear it, and that should do it. Sending that one toward the box is Byer. Once again, it is deflected, and the Dolphins are into the win column for the first time this year, as CSI defeats D'Youville University by a final score of 2-0. For the Dolphins, Adriana Melgar and Macy Jones-Bush, the goal scorers. Melgar capitalizing on a miscue in goal by Reagan Duval. She misplayed a shot by Colleen Rodriguez, couldn't handle the short hop. Melgar then cleaned up the rebound and found the back of the net on the follow. At the other end of the pitch in the second half, it was Jones-Bush intercepting a Saints pass and taking it straight to goal. She was one-on-one with the keeper, and Jones-Bush made no mistakes on that shot. She put it past Duval for the second Dolphins goal, and the College of Staten Island wins it by a final score of 2-0. We will try and get a look at both goals on replay very quickly. I'll see if I can cue those up for you. This should be the first Dolphins goal from back in the first half. Here you'll see the attempt by Rodriguez, a long shot. That was closer to midfield than the attacking third on the attempt by Rodriguez. Melgar, after Duval deflected it, was able to chip it over the Saints keeper and in. Dolphins took the 1-goal lead at that point. Later in the second half, it was Macy Jones-Bush on an intercepted pass. She took it away from the Saints and would score the second Dolphins goal to give the Dolphins a 2-goal lead. That would ultimately prove to be the final margin of victory for CSI as they pick up the 2-0 win over their conference rival in D'Youville University. So, once again, this game was the first of a pair from Dolphins Soccer Park, a men's and women's soccer doubleheader. The women pick up the win. The men will look to make it a Staten Island sweep. When we come back, it will be the men of the College of Staten Island taking on the men of D'Youville University. That game is scheduled for kickoff at approximately 2 p.m. We appear to be right on target for that. So until then, this has been Joe Foreman, and for our camera operator, Pat Gilorenzo, and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Once again, 2-0 Dolphins over the Saints. Men's soccer coming up next, right back here on the ECC Network.